Loading. Welcome to Access the Animus.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new video here on Access the Animus. Today we're going to discuss the few details revealed by Ubisoft about Season 2 of the post-launch content for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which will be named Ostara. We are going to find out approximately when it will release and the first information about its content, and through that we're going to try and hypothesize when the other future seasonal updates are going to release. In the video, we're also going to have a look at all the weekly changes that were made available in Valhalla in the last few days with the weekly reset, with the new items available in Reda's shop, the new contracts, the new weekly challenges, and finally, the new special challenges that will allow you to obtain the new Jackdaw Naval rewards for your longship. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it, subscribing to our channel, and turning the notifications on so you won't miss any of our future updates. And with that out of the way, let's dive into the most recent news about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. As mentioned in our intro, through a press release, Ubisoft has released a few little details about the next season of the post-launch content for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In fact, Season 2 will be called Ostara and will start in March 2021, so we don't have to wait that much for the next major content release for the game. More specifically, the press release also mentioned a few and possibly intentionally vague details about what the first update of the Ostara season will bring to the table. In fact, the first update, for which we don't know the actual release date yet, will bring a new festival, a new game mode that according to the press release will quote-unquote build on Valhalla's core combat experiences, new gear and cosmetics. This does feel similar to the Yule season updates that have been released from December up until this week, and shows us a bit more in detail how we might expect the seasonal content for the game to be released in the future as well. For example, and as mentioned in the post-launch trailer for the game, we're going to see more festivals coming to our settlement, and in this case, the name Ostara, like the name Yule, is pretty much a direct reference to that. In fact, Ostara is the name of the spring equinox in several pagan traditions, based on Iastra, a West Germanic spring goddess that is the namesake of the festival of Easter in some languages and, well, the Ostara festival in our case. This is also interesting because Ostara and Yule are two festivals that belong to the so-called Wheel of the Year, an annual cycle of seasonal pagan festivals consisting, according to Wikipedia, of the year's chief solar events like solstices and equinoxes and the midpoints between them. As you can see from the visual representation of the Wheel of the Year, we have already seen the Yule season in Valhalla. The next one will be Ostara, so following that trend, there's a potential chance we might see the seasons of Litha and Mabon in the coming months, in June and September, with Samhain already being represented in the main game in the Gloucestershire region. The press release also mentioned that, while such details were revealed about Season 2 of the post-launch content, more information about the Wrath of the Druids main expansion for the game, set in Ireland, will come at a later time, confirming that the DLC won't release in March, although the first info about it might indeed come in that month. That's what we know about the near future, but looking at the current updates for the game, we still have to discuss the various changes that have come with the weekly reset. First off, we have a look at the new items of Reda's shop, and yes, this week we have the Jackdaw shields for the standard and River Raids longships, more on that later, but we also have the Draugr hood from the Draugr set, the Burning Tree settlement decoration, and the Gothic tattoo for the back of our characters. This week our pick was the Draugr hood, which we can show you in these few pictures so you can better see its details. Next up, we have the new contracts, which will send us all across England to kill a few standard targets and obtain 5 opals for each of the daily ones and 20 opals for the weekly one. Along with that, we have this week's new weekly challenges, which you can find on the Ubisoft Connect platform, and as usual are made up of a community challenge and 4 player based ones. In the community challenge, we're going to have to recruit a Jumps Viking, which isn't going to be that hard on the week where the River Raids update was released, right? Well, in the 4 player based challenges, we're going to have to kill 5 enemies with flaming arrows, kill 50 enemies using hammers, win a drinking game, and win a dice game. As for the Flaming Arrows challenge, we suggest you go into a camp or a fort and trigger the range fire strike ability for the bow, which allows you to shoot fire arrows and, well, just shoot away at the guards. For the hammer related challenge, as usually suggested by Joe Raptor, it's best to go to the training camp next to Fornburg in Norway and just hit all the dummies. Lastly, for the non-murderous challenges, this time we chose to go to Northwich in East Anglia, as it's a town that will allow you to clear all of them in one visit, but a lot of other towns in the game will do as well. So, we recruited a Jumps Viking, we won a drinking game, and we also won an Orlog game, which allowed us to obtain some easy opals. And finally, as announced by the Assassin's Creed social media accounts, this week we have 2 additional challenges tied to the River Raids mode that will allow fans to obtain the so-called Jackdaw Naval rewards, corresponding to the 5 customizable items of both the standard and the River Raids longships. As is the case with the weekly challenges, one of these special challenges is player-based, while the other one is community-based, and both of them involve playing the River Raids game mode. The player-based one requires to play the mode 10 times and will allow you to obtain the Jackdaw tail and figurehead, and it looks like the counter is updated every time you end a river raid and decide to go back to the settlement, while the community-based one, well, it requires you to do the same, and at the moment the community goal has already been achieved, so you just need to complete 1 river raid and claim your reward on the Ubisoft Connect platform in order to obtain the Jackdaw hull and sail. And lastly, we need the shields to complete the Jackdaw set for the longship, and weirdly enough, they are available as mentioned earlier in Reda's shop. So once you've done all of this, you can finally complete your ship skin and sail across England or do some river raids with the Jackdaw appearance. So again, we're showing you some screenshots to better see all of its details. And that was it for today's video. Are you interested in seeing how Season 2 of the post-launch content will pan out? How do you expect its festival to be? And which mechanic do you think will receive its dedicated game mode? And what about the new weekly items and activities? Which one of them are you interested in and why? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in our next video.